Hello everyone, and today in this video I need to touch up on some things. So I like watching a lot of edits on YouTube about Kaiju versus Kaiju, and I noticed that in a lot of edits they don't give factual information or do research or anything like that. And I'm just gonna talk about each of three Kaiju that I think that you really need factual information to completely decide. So let's get right into it. First up, I'm going to be talking about Kong. So people say that in GXK, Kong knocking Godzilla to the ground, he knocked him out. So first off, he didn't knock him out, and you Kong fanboys say that because you want to act like Kong is stronger than he really is. And yes, Kong is strong. I have respect for him. He really um he proved his great strength in the movie. I mean, he was crazy strong, but you're making it to where it seems like he's even physically stronger than Godzilla. And I've seen people on YouTube with their edits say that he is physically stronger than Godzilla. Saying that he's physically stronger than Godzilla is going way too far. Sure, he takes striking strength, of course. He's much more agile. I mean, that you can differ that now since Godzilla is skinnier, but he's agile. So yeah, he probably takes striking strength, but you can never ever give raw strength to Kong over Godzilla. That just doesn't even make sense. And not to mention that he always gets weapons in his fight, and we all know that. He got the axe in GVK and he got the gauntlet in GXK, and he the gauntlet can charge up. So using that charged up gauntlet, that's making 60 to 75% of his strength. I mean, it, knocking him to the ground, he could not have done that without his gauntlet. Yeah, sure, he might have dazed him without the gauntlet, but he would have not knocked him down without the gauntlet. And like I said before, he did not knock him out. Um, yeah, he did not knock him out. The only reason Godzilla let him drag him was because he was charging up his atomic breath. And I'm not fanboying. You guys are being the fanboys because you keep saying that Kong has more strength than he actually has. But no, he doesn't. He's not physically stronger than Godzilla. He did not knock him out, and he just gets weapons, which makes people that like Godzilla mad because he just always gets these weapons that makes him look stronger when he's not. He has to have weapons, and he still loses. And in that fight, he almost lost if Mothra wasn't there. So yeah, that's the first one I'm going to talk about. Next up is Shimo, and I will admit, Shimo is probably the one of the strongest Titans Godzilla will ever face. So I'm here to say that right here it says that Shimo is arguably one of the strongest Titans in existence. With only evolved Godzilla can match your strength. So 2021 Godzilla would most likely lose in terms of strength. Would he lose the fight? Probably, but he does have that atomic breath, and he is strong. I mean, even though he's weaker, he is strong. But that's in 2021. Now, 2024 GXK Godzilla, it's hard to say. Shimo is bigger, so if you want to give physical strength to Shimo, I suppose you could. But Godzilla definitely takes striking strength because he is faster and more agile, which also makes up agility and speed. For durability is the hardest thing ever. I mean, I don't know, but from feats, it's probably Godzilla. I mean, we only saw one movie with Shimo, and she wasn't that much in it, which I'm also mad about. I wish Shimo was more in it, but from feats, we got to give durability to Godzilla. Obviously, you can't really do. I mean, I guess from lore, you could technically say Shimo takes it, but I'm probably still going to go with Godzilla for durability. I mean, he survived something that would make everything go extinct and just blew it off like it was nothing. So I think who would win in this fight? Um, uh, I think it really depends on where they're at. We saw in the city that they fought in GXK that Godzilla was winning, but then you gotta understand that Shimo's being controlled and not exactly bothering to fight him. And at some points she was, and you could definitely tell she was. I mean, it was a fair fight at those points, and they were both trying their hardest. But Scar King desperately needed help from Kong because we all know Kong's stronger and better than Scar King, and Scar King's some fake villain that's not even that strong at all. And that so yeah, most of the time Shimo's getting controlled by him to help, and that's most of the time that's when you see Godzilla like ragdolling her and throwing her to the ground is when she's trying to help Scar King with Kong. And the atomic breath did make a mark on her or even burn her. And I know you're probably like, well, no, it didn't. Well, I do not have the video up right now, but there's a video on YouTube that it's a spoiler I was able to find on YouTube from it. And if you pause it at the right time, you can see there are burn marks right under her stomach, right after he blows the atomic breath and shoves her into the building. And um, just because I like going deep into that, I like going deep into videos and figuring that information out, and I was able to catch that a like point second, like a split second, right before he slammed her into the building. So, like I said, I think it differs. Um, if it's flat open ground and there's no like geographical features around, like mountains or buildings even or anything, I think Godzilla takes that win because Godzilla's a lot faster and agile and able to move around a lot more. Yes, Shimo can freeze, but his new I forget what atomic breath they called it, but his new spiral way. Yeah, his spiral way is is a lot stronger. Like I think like 10 times stronger even than his other one. And his other one drew the hole through the entire earth. So with that being said, Godzilla probably wins. Now, if it's a lot of mountains or buildings and stuff, Godzilla is not going to be able to move around that well because of all the buildings and mountains and all the geographical features. So she's going to be able to like grab Godzilla, throw him into buildings, do all that, and there's not enough for him to get away from her. And yes, Godzilla can definitely do some attacks. He If he did not have his atomic breath and Shimo did not have her ice blast, Shimo might win that with like the geographical features and all in a tight space. Shimo probably would win that because Shimo probably takes physical strength. It's really close, but because right here it says with only evolved Godzilla can match her in strength. It's extremely close, extremely. But and as we all know, Evolved Godzilla is probably the only one that even stands a chance. All the other Godzillas would fail, like the 2021, 2019. So, yeah, I think Shimo's probably going to win that, like, extreme difficulty. But like I said, when it's wide open, Godzilla has more, more able to do heavy attacks because he's now fast. And also, one thing I want to put down now is that yes, he is physically stronger than 2021. He's faster, he's physically stronger, and he's taller and bigger. People say that he's not physically stronger because he got thinner. I actually like the new design. Him being thinner is makes him way more faster, and he's jacked. He's ripped now. He's not like super skinny. He's now built. So even though he did get thinner, it's basically losing all that fat and just becoming muscular. It's basically what he's doing. So yes, the answer to that is he is stronger than 2021 and so on and so on. So yeah, so let's move on to the next one, which this one's the one that I really need to just put it down right now. Godzilla is physically stronger than King Ghidorah, okay? I'm just going to set that down right now. You all can debate me as much as you want to, but Godzilla is physically stronger than King Ghidorah. From lore, Godzilla beat King Ghidorah multiple times in the past in Antarctica. So you wonder why Ghidorah ran, and you're all like, "Well, he got overwhelmed by the military." No, he didn't get overwhelmed by the military. He knew that he was gonna get crapped on by Godzilla in Antarctica because he's gotten crapped on before by Godzilla many times before, like it says right here on several occasions. So, and then you're all like, if he got overwhelmed, then why didn't he run when it was Godzilla, amped up, military and Mothra? Why didn't he run? Well, it's because there was a lot of buildings, there was a lot of things, structures that King Ghidorah would, because on a flat land like that, Godzilla can easily move around. Ghidorah flying in the air, going past him all that, he can't move around that much with all the buildings. Ghidorah also has a way to grab him and slam him into buildings. So Ghidorah is basically getting help from the building, getting help from other structures to defeat him. But so on, this is kind of to the Shimo fight. On flat ground with no structures, Godzilla wins, and but with structures, King Ghidorah wins, and it's an amped up King Ghidorah is so an amped up King Ghidorah got amped up, right? So King Ghidorah amped up, and you're all like, well Godzilla got amped up by an entire nuke. Godzilla was on his last limb. Like, he was about to die, and he technically did die, and then came back, and then had to go heal himself, and he was not even moving. He was sitting there, like, lifeless. And um, the guy, he sacrificed himself for the nuke to amp him up. That amp up didn't amp him up like he was completely amped up. If he was 100% health and then he got that nuke, he would be extremely amped up. But he wasn't 100% health. He was like 0.1% health. He was literally, like I said, on his last limb, lifeless. And then he got amped up. So basically, he got to 100% health and then a little bit more amped up. But it's not like, oh my gosh, an entire nuke, that's way better than the entire electricity of Boston, which, if you, that is true, but the entire electricity of Boston, that's also extremely powerful, and him just getting that mid fight, and not to mention he blew all the electricity in the sky, which pushed Godzilla back into buildings, which, yeah, again, buildings, it's all buildings. Okay, Ghidorah can't do anything without those geographical features. Godzilla was the only one that did physical damage towards Ghidorah in Antarctica. He slammed his heads to the ground. Ghidorah had to rely on his three-head atomic rays, which I already think is unfair. I mean, bro, he has three heads. He's also bigger. But I'm not exactly talking about winning right now. I'm talking about physical strength. And we all know Godzilla has more physical strength. And no matter how many times you say Ghidorah has more physical strength, you never prove it. And he has, Godzilla has far better physical strength. And of course Ghidorah gets striking strength. He can fly up. And I think that's what you guys are getting confused with, striking and raw strength, because you're like, oh my gosh, you like slam into the ground. That's because Ghidorah can fly and has three heads. That's not because of his raw strength. I mean, he's, because it's more about the striking strength, because he can actually fly up and get way more momentum than Godzilla can, and yet Godzilla still put up a great fight in Boston. So overall, like I said, on a flat win with no like structures in the way or anything, Godzilla wins, and we all know that. We just don't want to admit it. And but with a bunch of features, so Ghidorah can actually use those features, then Ghidorah would win. because he needs those features to help him. And if you watch the movie again, you can clearly see, oh yeah, he shoved him into the building and stuff like that. Like, he needs these features to win, and that's why he ran away, because he's like, oh no, he beat me multiple times before in Antarctica, and it's like, oh no, I'm gonna get beat again if I don't do something. So that's what happened. He ran away. Uh, so yeah, that's gonna be it for today's video. I just want to get those 3 fights down because I'm not happy with what I'm seeing on YouTube, on the edits and all of that. So if you enjoy, leave a like and consider subscribing.